So let's get going here. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Unlocking the Power of Email Marketing event with Spellbound. Today, we have a unique opportunity to learn the latest strategies and tactics for successful email marketing. You'll gain insights into personalization, interactive emails, and copy that will help you improve your current campaigns. And additionally, Spellbound is here to provide an on-the-spot audit of your emails, giving you valuable feedback. So I'm excited to introduce you to Akshay Dinesh, CEO and co-founder of Spellbound. Spellbound is an interactive email platform that increases conversions drastically by embedding magical user experiences in your marketing emails. And before I turn it over to Akshay, I just want to give a quick intro on Replo. So Replo is a visual web development platform that allows teams to create beautiful, high-performance landing pages on Shopify without the need for developers. Replo is light years ahead of other page builders when it comes to customization and page speed. We have a library of hundreds of proven landing pages and sections that anyone can use, as well as certified experts who can help build new pages in just a few days. Thanks everyone for being here today, and I'm going to turn it over to Akshaya to take it from here.
Awesome. Thanks, Justin. Excited to be here too. Yeah, we have a pretty small crew, so we can be very, very interactive and get everybody super excited and chiming in as well. I really want this to be a group collaborative session. But yeah, I'm happy to start with a quick introduction about myself and about Spellbound. I'm Akshaya. I'm the founder here at Spellbound. And Spellbound is a no-code platform that helps brands create interactive experiences embedded inside of their emails. And I'll walk through a few examples more closer to the end. But what we really will help with is getting people to actually immediately take action when they see one of your marketing emails, whether that's to start shopping and make a purchase, or whether it's to submit a survey, whatever that might be. Cool. And yeah, we can kind of run through and get started. So everybody in the audience, if you do have an email, I just put my information in the chat. Would love to see that email come through so that we can actually go over it together and review it live. That just makes it so much more useful and impactful to kind of look at these live and actually audit them. We do have one email that we got in from before, so we'll start with that one. And then I believe, Justin, you also said you wanted to send over some emails, so I'm happy to look through those as well. Cool.
Sounds great. And yeah, I had sent mine over earlier this morning as well. So.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. Okay, I'll take a look at that. Amazing. Okay, well, we can get started with doing the emails and looking at them. And then after that, we'll kind of do a little bit of a walkthrough of maybe a little bit more about Spellbound and what we can do to really make our emails just come more to life, if that sounds good. So I'm going to go ahead and take over the share. All right, awesome. Here we are. So this is the first email that we got. I don't know much about this brand, but I can tell that this is probably a yoga brand, and they're selling products for people who like yoga. And it looks like this is their very first email of their welcome series. I find that one is a very, very important email because it's really the highest. It's usually one of the highest open rates. It's the email that comes in right after a person has subscribed. And so they're most excited about this email. It's also a really high revenue email. And I'd say when it comes to revenue, the welcome flow is probably one of the biggest, revenue drivers. So it is really, really important to have a super duper awesome welcome flow, one that is impactful and really memorable, and also actionable, that leads people to want to do something with your brand, whether that's buy something or tell you how they feel. So you really want to make this an interactive experience for them as well. Cool. And so to look through this first email, this is where the welcome email starts. And then at the top here, there's a bit of text. Actually, it would be interesting to hear all of your thoughts as well. So throw in the chat what you think on the content of this email. Let's see if I'll scroll through. Then we've got some products here from the store and a CTA with a discount. Yeah, I'm curious what everyone else's thoughts are. Throw in the chat what you think first glance. What do you think are good parts of this email? What do you think are parts of this email that might not help convert as well? Super curious to hear your thoughts. Cool. Okay, cool. Yeah, well, so I think the first thing I'm noticing here, and this is always really important to check for, is that most emails, most people in their inbox, they're really only spending a ton of attention at the very top of the email. And it's, in an email environment, there are so many emails to get through. People are flipping through hundreds and hundreds of emails. And so it's really, really important to take care of that attention for at the top of the email. Yep, I'm hearing stuff about there's lots of content, maybe a few too many images. Wonder if the CTA is real or it's just an image. Definitely a ton of content. There's a lot of CTAs. Yep, totally makes a lot of sense. So let's go through and see if that is definitely the case. So near the top here, I'll say this is definitely a lot of text, and this image is pretty huge. So what that means is by blocking off this whole top section with text and that really big image at the top, what you're doing is you're basically preventing people from having a hook or something that's really fascinating about your email that designs them to want to keep scrolling. And that is really, really crucial because there isn't really a lot of space in an email, especially when you're on mobile. It's a very, very short experience. And so you want to be able to capture their attention at the very top, just near where the header of the email is, so that they're designed to want to keep scrolling. And at the end, they actually want to take action and they either want to, purchase something or they want to engage with you more closely. So that's really, really important. Now from there, let's go down here. So basically they're trying to talk about a little bit about kind of the origin of the brand and kind of where they started. But I will say that this doesn't really seem to be helping me in terms of getting over kind of the first purchase step. So this could be potentially a little bit shorter. I like the personal touch here of including the signature and a picture of the founder. It does feel a little bit more personable. And the 10% off does make sense, although I will say to be cautious about discounting, because as you might know, discounting too heavily can also lead to sort of like some potential downsides in the long term where, people in your audience tend to feel very, very accustomed to getting a discount. And then when they don't get a discount, they're less likely to purchase. So we want to make sure that we're not over discounting. So maybe that might be something that we want to hold on to in terms of using that discount. We can also experiment with different pop-ups in A/B testing on the site and determine, okay, do we need a discount to get their email address, or can we get their email address with a different type of offer or deal in that pop-up? But that makes sense. I love how this is like in a rectangle, so it's really easy to see. Although I'm not sure why the signature and the profile picture is also in the rectangle. It does feel a little bit muddled. I would want to see the discount and the deal split out from the rest of the content and really just kind of highlighted. The other thing here is that this isn't very actionable. So I do like, I don't know how useful these 5 stars are if we're not actually seeing any UGC associated with it. It doesn't look like these are pictures coming in from real people. It also doesn't look like there are reviews coming in from real people. So if we're going to include, star ratings, I'd want to see some actual, proof points or points of proof about where that is coming from. But I think overall, this is a really, really awesome, awesome start. I love the idea of including multiple products and including a little bit more about each product so that people are incentivized to purchase. And I am curious, though, if the goal is to get people to purchase in this email, especially if they haven't bought anything from the store yet, I would want to make this one step further. Like have them flip through multiple images per product, have them add to cart, have them even able to, create their cart within the email itself. Like make this really as interactive and as actionable as possible. I do think that could be lacking a little bit from just looking at the images. And at the end of the day, people are less incentivized to click on a link in an email and go into another page or on another app on their phone just because they have so many other emails to get through. So that is one thing that I would look at. And there is a CTA here as well. That makes sense. Although if the code is up here, I can imagine this could be a little bit distracting to have to compete for attention, those 2 different CTAs. But I like how this one is a primary CTA. Cool. And I love this little banner at the bottom for putting in, the social media information. That makes a ton of sense. And I do love that there's an email address for asking for help, just so that if people have any questions, they can respond. I'm curious if there is supposed to be a footer here at the bottom. for the other social media links or for unsubscribe, I'm hoping that it just was excluded from here. Maybe they did have one and maybe they just didn't include it. Yep, Roy, you pointed it out as well. No unsubscribe link. Makes sense. Awesome. Yeah, anything else that you feel like I missed from this audit, or do you have any questions about the things we went over?
The menu at the top, is that actually still useful? So right at the header menu, do people still do that?
I think it's still useful. I don't know if it's useful necessarily at the very top. I think it's useful just from the context of if you have multiple categories of products or if you have really important links that most people are clicking on anyway, and they just maybe by seeing your email, they got reminded that they're actually interested in something else. Like maybe you sent them an email about yoga mats, but then they reminded themselves that, oh, hey, I actually really needed a yoga towel. And now that I saw this email, I'm gonna, check out the towels that this brand offers. It could just be useful as like a, hey, even if the content of this email is not relevant right now, let's check out some of the other categories. But no, I mean, I would just take a close eye and monitor how closely people are actually clicking on those links. And if you're finding that those link clicks are very, very low, then it might even be better for you to just completely take it out or move it to the footer and make more space at the top for the important content of the actual email. And that's always the most important thing is whatever's near the top really does have to be high impact and has to drive clicks or drive engagement. And if it's not, then you want to keep testing. You want to keep shifting around until it does.
Thanks.
I really liked your comment about like the above the fold content and keeping all that, making sure it's like attractive and eye catching.
Yeah.
I wonder if is there like a standardized like above the fold dimensions, like to make sure like your CTA doesn't get cut off, because I know it's like you're working with a bunch of different devices. I don't know, have you heard of anything like that? Because now I'm like, oh, I want to make sure, I don't know, I strategize like that.
Yeah. That's a good point. I don't know if it necessarily means that the entire CTA needs to be above the fold, but whatever content is the hook or whatever is going to get them really excited in order to click the CTA, that needs to be above the fold or something interesting, something that makes them feel a little bit curious about what's going on. So in this email, I would say if I'm somebody who's new to this brand, like the thing that's getting me curious is the fact maybe that there's going to be an offer that I'm getting a discount. And if that wasn't already included in the subject line or the preview text, then I'm not really getting any sense of that from the above the fold content here. So I would want to include a little bit more of that above. Maybe as part of this image, maybe instead of just saying welcome to our family, I would say like, welcome to our family, here's 10% off, something like that. That could be an easy way to incorporate more of that offer into the creative. I do think that's really where you can shine in email is there's so many opportunities for the creative to really speak for you. So having really awesome images that can either incorporate kind of the value prop of the product as well as the copy. You can start to incorporate as much of that actual content as possible in those images as well. And you can fit quite a lot above the fold when you're working with more of that creative. If you're just writing paragraphs and paragraphs of text, it's going to be way, way, way more challenging to incorporate content above the fold and especially get people's attention. Like I think people are definitely pretty lazy when it comes to email, and I don't think that they're going to be able to read a lot of text unless you have very clear hooks that actually pull in their attention, get them excited.
No, that's really good.
Cool. Yeah. Any other notes or comments on this email before we move on to the next one? Awesome. Let's do it. Okay. I'm going to stop share for a moment and I'm going to see if I got any other ones in here. Awesome. Cool. We've got so many new emails. Cool. I'm going to go ahead and share. All right, here we go. Okay, so we've got our next email coming in. Thank you, Roy, for sending this in. Since you're here, do you want to just give us a really quick intro about the brand so that we have some context to review these emails with?
Yeah, so this one is a campaign, and it's specifically for Amazon, actually. It's kind of unique. We sell a lot on Amazon, but we also sell on our D2C sites as well. And so that's the kind of like the context behind this. And then this brand, yeah, so Pure Enrichment, lots of different, so everything from air humidifiers to heating pads to pain therapy. So everything around like personal wellness type products. And so yeah, this is like a launch email on or for Amazon. So just a little bit of context for that.
Okay, very helpful. So there's a D2C presence and we want to also now launch Amazon and promote the Amazon presence. Okay, cool. That makes a ton of sense. Sweet. Okay, well, starting up here at the top, okay, so we've got a trio of treatment. Okay, I guess like kind of wordplay, that's interesting. There's a shop now button. I think this is maybe a little bit too soon to include that CTA button, because at this point, if I'm reading top down, I really haven't gotten much information yet about what the deal is, what we're selling. I really don't know a lot at all. So the shop now is a little bit maybe like too soon, I think, for that CTA. Unless they're already super duper familiar with your brand and they just need a reminder to go back and shop, which in that case, they could just literally click the header or they could click any other link. I would maybe wait to put the CTA a little bit later. I love having the content in creative here. I love having these, I don't know what TNS and EMS is, so maybe it's just an education piece. I actually don't know what those terms mean. I'm not sure if your audience is very familiar with those terms. But I love the idea of showing the product being used on multiple people. And loving that we're seeing the value prop of the product. Exclusive Amazon offer. Now here is where I think a CTA would be awesome because we're communicating the offer. So we're communicating there's going to be a discount. Here's this very heavy, very generous discount. I think 30% is a huge discount. That's a really great offer. So if we're going to give a great offer, we can absolutely put that CTA right below here. And that CTA, I don't exactly know how Amazon links work, but I think there's a way to make it so that you can get that coupon code automatically included with that URL. So include that CTA right below, straight to Amazon. Okay, this looks great. Advanced relief. That looks cool. Again, I don't know what TNS is, and I don't know what EMS is. So maybe there's, again, some aspects of education that we can include in the email to make sure that people understand what these are actually doing. And this looks great. I think the only other thing that I'm kind of like thinking through is, you said this was a campaign, so there could have already been other education. But I would love to see what types of problems you're solving with the product. Although I'm seeing some people using the product in these mock-ups, and you're kind of explaining the value props of the product itself, pain management, muscle strength, tension. What I'm not hearing is why should I care about this? Is this for like when you're dealing with cramps? Is it for post-workout soreness? Like, I'm not really hearing why I, as an individual, might be in a situation where your product will help me. So I think maybe approaching this from a more like, what is the problem? What is the solution? Could help a little bit with selling it. But otherwise, I think this is a really, really good start. The only thing I will notice is that the font color is a little bit hard to read down here with this orange. The dark orange and the dark blue, they seem to just blend in a little bit. So it is a bit more, it's a bit less readable. So I like the idea of having like the dark blue background, white text. That is very, very readable. This is also very readable. It's just this, I think it's just that combination that blends in a little bit more. But yeah, other than that, I think this is an awesome email. Would love to hear everybody else's thoughts too in the chat if you think there's anything else to think about or look for in designing an email like this.
Yeah, thanks for the feedback. I appreciate that.
Cool. Awesome. Amazing. Cool. Well, let's take a look at another one. I think we've got a few more. All right. And everybody else also feel free to drop in some emails. You can email me or put them in the chat, and then just drop in a message in the chat to let me know when you've put them in so that I can go look for it. Awesome. Okay, we've got another one here. And yeah, I guess again, Roy, do you have any context first before we dive in?
Yeah. So I sent in three different ones. And so this is another brand that we own, and this is another campaign. And so it's just one of our, we've kind of been experimenting with just using, incorporating reviews, kind of like what we saw earlier in that first send. And so we're kind of approaching, for this brand, our big season is back to school. And this is like lunch boxes and things like that. So, but right now it's kind of like the, in between of like, just, so we have a lot of different products for just, lunchtime for adults and everything. So this is just one of our kind of like our flagship adult products that it was like a spotlight type thing.
Gotcha. So because we're leaning into the seasonality, we're trying to focus on the adult products right now, since we're waiting for sort of back to school season to come through.
Exactly.
Cool. Makes sense. Awesome. Cool. All right. So we've got the name of the brand here. We've got some text at the top in the creative, eat healthy in style. I love this image. I do think this image is really, really awesome and vibrant. Yeah, the product does look really cool. Awesome. I will say that above the fold, there's not a lot of content here. So if I want to know a little bit more about why I'm supposed to be reading this email, I would say at this point that I haven't gotten much information about what the campaign is actually going to tell me about. And it could be kind of one of those cases where I might just flip through in my inbox and keep moving on to the next one. So it might be something that we want to just like incorporate a little bit more, even just like a product name. Like if you have like the name of this product, I actually think that would help, even just putting that in the creative. So that people know, oh yeah, you're going to be talking about this product and I want to learn more about this product. Even if they are interested in learning more, there's just very, very little here to tell me what the campaign is actually going to be about and why I should keep reading. Let's move on here. Designed with all ages in mind. A removable tray. Oh, that's so cool. Leak resistant, so you can carry it. Okay, that is awesome. I think I love this this piece about the value prop here. These could even be split out into things like bullet points, or it could be actually part of the creative. I've seen a lot of really great brands, create awesome content where the images are telling you the information and you don't need to split it out with image and text, which just helps kind of condense it a little bit and bring the attention to the creative. Because when you have an email like this one, it's very easy to kind of gloss over the text and just look at the pretty pictures, more pretty pictures, and kind of gloss over what people are what you're actually writing. Subject line. Oh yeah, I didn't even look at the subject line. I'm curious to hear more, Justin. I would love to hear what you mean by subject line could be improved. So I think it's this one. It's leak resistant, microwave, and dishwasher safe.
Yeah, I guess if I got this email like in my inbox, I wouldn't know exactly what it was before I clicked into it. So maybe it just says like Benko or has like the product name or something before the value props.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So maybe adding a potential name of the product so that we know actually what we're talking about. That makes sense. Cool. I like the idea of available in 5 sleek colors. Can we even demo those colors? Can we see like little color bubbles as part of the creative somewhere? I would love to see that as well visually. I think so much of this is really just using what you have on the product visually to sell it. Let's see. I love my okay, so we have the kind of same thing going on here where okay, so this was a 5-star rating. That makes sense. Maybe to even bring this more to life, can we include like their initials or like their first name, last initial? I want this to really feel like it's an actual customer review come to life, especially because these images do look a little bit more staged. They don't look as natural coming from the customer. So I want to know more about that customer to make sure that it really is an authentic review. But this is great. I think that makes a ton of sense. Definitely worth the price. Yeah, okay. I mean, I still do think that there's probably just some more like very simple stuff that you can do to make this very, very actionable in welcome emails and also just in campaigns in general. If you're going to focus on a specific product or a specific list of products, I would love to see that be an actionable CTA rather than just get yours. Can they start to flip through images of the product? Can they add that product to cart? Can they get closer to a purchase without even having to go back to your site? I think that's really what will help them drive more action and drive more attention to the email. And I'm happy to show an example of that actually. So
I love this product. I definitely want one. And actually curious your thoughts on, I didn't see a price on there. And I'm wondering if
Mm.
like, is it better to have the price so that folks know what the cost is, or is it better to maybe not include the price because now I'm curious and I want to click through?
That's a great point. I'd say it really just depends on the brand and probably something worth A/B testing. And the great part of email is if you have enough of a list, you should be able to A/B test really, really easily. I'm guessing you're sending these in Klaviyo or something. Klaviyo has great functionality to just be able to put in 2 different copies of that email, and then you can set it to split test across just like 20% of the list so that everybody else gets the other version. I'd be super curious to see data on this because I don't have some already. But I'm not sure, Justin. That's a good question.
Roy,
It's
if you
awesome.
don't mind me asking, what is the price?
$29.99.
That's a great price. Yeah, it's a really cool product. I like that.
Cool. Definitely gonna test that now. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, awesome. Cool. And I wanted to show an example actually of another welcome email since we did review that welcome series email 1 in the beginning. So this is an example of what I think is a mostly pretty great welcome email. There's probably, we can kind of do an audit here as well. Emmy is a vegan ramen brand. So first things first, they have really, really gorgeous creative. So I will say that that automatically sets them apart because most of the other kind of emails in your inbox are pretty boring, but they have really beautiful pictures. So they do include those. And this is exactly what I was talking about of almost they include the copy and they include some of the like content within the images. So the CTA and the title of the email is not just text outside, it's actually embedded in the background of the wall of the place where these people are eating their ramen. So I think that's kind of a more unique way, but I will say that this is very, very long. So because this is a welcome series 1, I would be curious to learn more about what I'm going to actually learn from this email. It does feel a little bit sort of like, vague. But once we get down to the bottom, this is actually very similar to that other welcome email 1, where they're including a little bit of a backstory on the brand. The text font size, I will say, is bigger, so it's a lot easier to read, especially on smaller devices. It can be hard to read a super small font size. So this is helping. And what I do love about this background is that it's actually relevant. It's actually much more relevant to the customer. So we're actually seeing like the pain point. Oh, it's unhealthy conditions or poor nutrition, unhealthy diets. And then the solution, the value prop is better instant ramen, added nutrition, delicious foods, makes you feel great. Even though they're talking about the founder's origin story, it feels like they're selling the product to me and making it seem really relevant to me. And then they include a piece of information about the value prop. So we're seeing the protein content, carbs, plant-based, and these are the types of things that people who are looking for food products, they care about. They want to see, I want to know how many calories there are. I want to know if I'm a health conscious person. I want to know all this information. So they're showing me that. And then the cool part is they make it instantly actionable. So they bring in their bestsellers, all of their best-selling products and SKUs into the email so that I can basically start shopping. So there's that carousel of images. Oh, not loading. And then we've got the variants, so I can start to shop and I can add to cart, fully actionable. So I think this can be also really super valuable, especially when you have a very visual product and you want to be able to show the different products in your store and also have people add to cart and start to check out. So there's just an example there. I actually also really like the colors and the vibrancy. It's very rare that I see a black background on my emails. So it's very dark, and I really like that. And then they have this super bold yellow font that I think makes the content super duper vibrant and really stand out. Like if I flip through the other emails in my inbox, it's very rare that you see one like this where the whole background is a black color and then just the font is like this very bold yellow. So it kind of jolts you a little bit. Awesome. I'm going to go back in and take a look at the last email that we got. Cool. Anything else to share context on here, Roy, in terms of what this email is for?
Yes. So this one is in a browse abandonment email. Yeah, so same brand as before, Bentgo. And yeah, like I'm trying to think anything else. No, I think pretty much it. I was just looking through the emails that I got most recently and was sending them super quick. So I was just I think we can just jump right in.
Cool. It's a browser abandonment. Awesome. Same brand. Looks good. So again, I will say this font is really, really small. It's very hard to read this font. So I would love to make this a little bit bigger. I like that the offer is very bold and very clear. Enjoy 10% off. But then the same thing, the code is a little bit hard to read. There's also creative things that you can do on Klaviyo where you can create a link that actually includes the coupon code in the link. So that way you can sort of make this offer say, oh, you just need to click this link below to start shopping with this offer. Code expires in 7 days. I do like that you're including that sense of urgency, but it's not very apparent. It's not big enough. I want to see more of that urgency bigger, maybe even in the content, maybe the preview text or the header somewhere near the top, or maybe even incorporate it somewhere above the fold. I will say that the above the fold content in this email is, again, not super clear. I'm not really sure what I'm going to be seeing in the rest of the email. So I'd want to incorporate more of that content near the top. And I do think that some of even the header can be condensed. Like, I'm not really sure what this sort of this colorful horizontal line is doing. Maybe we can take that out and move the content higher up in the email or reduce the size of the logo a little bit. It's just taking up a ton of that really valuable real estate. Cool. I like the fact that we're using the Klaviyo event data to pull in the whichever product that they selected. It would be nice if this was a carousel of images, if I could flip through and see multiple pictures about that product. But otherwise, okay, we did include the price here, so that's pretty interesting. We have the price. I'm curious to see if that works well. But I do think it's useful. And then we have some other products here. I think this looks gorgeous. I think having the grid of all the different images of the products like this is a really, really awesome way to sell it. And some of these product images look really, really cool. So even if I was down here, and I haven't eaten lunch yet, so the images of food are really selling it for me. But if I hadn't already seen the products from the other parts of the store, then seeing it in this email is really, really awesome. So great job on that one. I think this makes a ton of sense. I will say that I'm not sure how useful, I guess, like shop bestsellers, is this going to take them to the list of all the bestsellers? It would be a little interesting to see that. What is this shop now? Is this for this product? Maybe even having a title here that just says like recently viewed would be helpful so that I know why this product is kind of like living above all the other products that I'm seeing, especially if I gloss over this really small text and I don't have a ton of context once I get there. Oh, awesome. Okay. This is also, I think, a really important piece. Free shipping on US orders over $35. That's also helping sell the products. I would want that to be featured a little bit more as well. I really almost didn't even read this because of how small the font size was. And you can't treat emails sort of like web font sizes in terms of the sizing. You want things to pop and you want it to be very dynamic. So I would love to see a bigger font size. Just because of how important that is and how much it will really help sell it. Cool. I think other than that, this email looks great. I like this footer content. We have the unsubscribe link in here, social icons in here. Makes a ton of sense. I would say the highlight of this email should really be the offers, and I don't think they're getting enough attention. But other than that, this is an awesome embed and browse email. Really love it.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Cool. Let's see if there's anything else. I don't think we got any more emails in here. So yeah, I guess, Justin, we're almost at the end of time. Do we want to do sort of our wrapper and wrap things up?
Yeah, sure. I guess anything else that you'd like to say on the Spellbound side?
Yeah, I'm happy to do kind of like a deeper demo. I feel like we didn't really get to chat too much. For those
great.
Okay, cool. So we'll do like a little bit of a walkthrough, just to show kind of the functionality and what we do for our clients every single day. So I'll share my screen on that one. Cool, awesome. So a little bit about Spellbound. For those of you who are unaware, we're basically a platform that helps brands turn their emails into engaging, actionable experiences where people can actually start to shop and purchase from within the email. And it's exactly like what we were talking about. The problem is that most consumers are getting hundreds of emails in their inbox every day, and it is really, really hard to stand out. And it is really, really hard to get them to click. And the reason being that whenever they do click on an email, they're basically getting completely taken out of their kind of their flow of just reading and going through emails. And clicking on that link often means that they need to wait for that page to load. It opens up another tab in what's probably already 100 tabs, or on their phone, they need to switch apps. And that amount of friction does oftentimes lead to lower conversion rates. So they might end up churning or forgetting about your site altogether, and they might just move on with their day. So the goal is we want people to get excited about the content and your offer immediately when they're within that email before they have to get back into another experience. And the way that we accomplish that is Spellbound essentially is a library of interactive widgets is what we call them. And these are little containers of functionality that you can take and you can embed into one of your emails that you're already sending from Klaviyo. And so it really just lays a layer on top of Klaviyo to bring those emails to life. So I'll kind of walk through a couple quick examples. Here's an example for an abandoned cart. You can also use this for abandoned browse or any other abandonment email. And basically where I was talking about that interactive image in the carousel, we also have sort of the quantities, the sizing, and then the customer is able to edit what's in their cart. You can also add things like upsells to drive up AOV near the bottom, and really just helps people get closer to purchase without having to actually click out into the site. And this is kind of similar to that example that I showed earlier for a welcome flow, could also be a campaign or any other flow, where you're seeing kind of the product and its different elements, as well as the descriptions, and getting to start your cart and to check out. Outside of that, we also do things like interactive reviews. So here's an example of a review form when it's within the email, and we tend to see like 300% more reviews that come in when it is interactive. And then lastly, we also have forms. So we have things like SMS sign-up forms for people who are opted to just email, but you want to grab their attention on SMS, and as well as surveys if you want to collect things like birthdays or preferences, or hey, why didn't you purchase yet? Just quick questions like that that can really help increase the amount of zero-party data you have on the audience. So yeah, that's kind of a little bit about what we do and how we work with brands at Spellbound. I'll take it back to you, Justin.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I guess any other questions from the audience today? Awesome.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for joining. And thank you so much. Actually, I really appreciate it. That was amazing. Loved all the info, and I definitely learned a lot. And love seeing some of those products. I'm definitely going to check out the lunchbox. Super cool product. So yeah, we'll definitely have to do this again real soon. And yeah, again, really appreciate everyone showing up today. And we'll see you all soon.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you, guys. Bye. Catch you all next time. Bye.